In the heart of the Himalayas lies the throbbing vein of animosity, the disputed territory of Kashmir, a chessboard set between two indomitable nuclear powers, India and Pakistan, each equally relentless, each steeled with an unyielding resolve. Skirmishes flicker like sparks on gunpowder, the border a powder keg of potential catastrophe. While battles may be measured, lives are nonetheless lost, etching a tally of the human cost into the bitter cold. At the epicenter of the turmoil, an icy titan reigns supreme, the Siachen Glacier. Perched precariously at 6,000 meters, it's a battlefield aloft the clouds. Each nation stands its ground, dispatching troops to endure the brutal elements, a place that seems to exist beyond the edge of the world. Temperatures of 30 below zero, amid sheets of snow and piercing ice, duty calls the brave, but lures none. A standoff spurred by necessity, whoever gains control of this frigid frontier will command the high ground. In January 2016, a fraction of the Indian Madras Regiment found themselves stationed in this icy abyss. Among them, a seasoned veteran, Corporal Naik Hanumanthappa, tasked with molding green recruits into glacial warriors and maintaining a vigilant watch on the disputed border. For the experienced Naik, this wasn't a maiden voyage into the stratosphere. The regiment undertook their frigid training, pitching tents at cliff bases, carving sanctuaries from ice, and tracing the contentious boundary with determined steps. Across the chilling expanse, their Pakistani counterparts echo their plight, sharing a relentless watch and the ever-looming threat of conflict, fingers etched onto triggers. The toll of this Cold War, waged over 3 decades, stands at 8,000 brave souls. More than 3/4 succumbed not to bullets, but to the merciless mountain itself, claimed by avalanches, landslides, and the relentless grip of frostbite. At these extreme altitudes, where air thins and the elements rule supreme, survival is the most formidable enemy. Just a few more days and the unyielding endurance of Naik and his regiment would be rewarded. Their replacements were nearing. The circle of monotony spun incessantly. Patrol, sleep, then patrol again. And so it repeated until the calendar marked February 3rd. On that fateful day, following their routine trek over the biting expanse of the glacier, Naik gifted his men a brief reprieve. Their encampment nestled at the foot of an imposing cliff, a sanctuary from the punishing winds and a bulwark against the perennial threat of avalanches. Soldiers scattered across the camp, some devouring ration packs, others seeking solace in the scant warmth of their tents, while a few huddled around a makeshift fire. Then it came. A distant growl, a muffled grumble, grew into a thunderous roar. Avalanche. The fortress of safety was engulfed, consumed by a monstrous wave of snow and ice. An immense wall of ice, a kilometer in breadth and 600 meters in height, crumbled from the seemingly protective cliff. It descended with an unstoppable ferocity, unleashing the full brunt of its weight onto the helpless encampment and the men beneath. Back at base, an ominous report of an avalanche in Siachen cast a shadow of dread. Attempts to establish contact with Corporal Hanumanthappa's isolated unit echoed with chilling silence. The airwaves lay dead. Emergency protocols were triggered, a helicopter dispatched to scout the area. Below, the scene was bleached white. The camp vanished under an expanse of relentless snow. Just a day earlier, the pilot had made a supply drop at the very spot that now appeared to have been swallowed by the icy wilderness. A storm, a savage beast in the skies, was stirring its fury, making the situation dire. The chopper barely clawed its way back to the base, where a battalion of rescuers, bracing against hope and fear, readied themselves for the formidable task that lay ahead. As the perilous threat of additional avalanches loomed ominously, the rescue team splintered into smaller contingents. From a hovering helicopter, the first brave few were lowered onto the deadly ice field, harnessed securely by life-giving cables to the helicopter. Should the icy terrain stir again, they would be reeled back to the safety of the skies. Their mission was daunting: secure the site and locate any signs of life swallowed by the avalanche. Navigating the featureless landscape was a needle-in-haystack ordeal. But guided by mere coordinates, they identified the site of the engulfed encampment. No traces remained, only a blanket of ice and snow where life once endured. The chilling realization gripped them. Their comrades were buried beneath, and survival, a glimmer of hope rapidly fading. Yet, they had to excavate. Amid the crushing weight of the circumstances, they understood they were likely on a grim retrieval mission. With the site deemed relatively safe, reinforcements descended from the choppers above, each newcomer adding their strength to the arduous rescue operation. Frantic digging commenced, an exhaustive effort haunted by the unsettling uncertainty of where to look. Specialized search dogs, trained to sniff out life under snow, were deployed. Equipment rained from the sky, suspended from the persistent whirl of helicopters above. An air bridge emerged, a delicate operation necessitated by the limited carrying capacity of aircraft at these harsh altitudes. The sky buzzed with desperate activity, echoing the tension and dread that held each heart below. With every ounce of their strength, the rescuers bore into the unforgiving landscape. But each successful clearing of snow revealed a new foe: walls of ice, 1 to 2 meters thick. Shovels and ice picks were cast aside, replaced by the biting force of chisels, axes, and roaring motor saws. 2 days of relentless excavation yielded no survivors, their efforts answered only by the indifferent chill of the ice. A tempest was gathering force on the horizon, threatening to engulf the site once more. The clock was ticking. The rescue teams, their hearts heavy with disappointment, were evacuated from the precipice of danger. The risk of more lives lost to another icy collapse was an unthinkable prospect. News of the tragedy reached the families who braced themselves for the inevitable, the cruel reality of survival under layers of ice and in the deathly grasp of -42-degree temperatures. When the storm finally expended its fury after 2 days, the blades of the helicopters cleaved the crisp air once more. The teams descended anew onto the icy abyss. Dogs scrutinized the frozen surface, and the sound of determined excavation rang out once more. As they toiled on, ice fragments flew, the cracking echo seeming to mock their efforts. There was no trace of the lost soldiers. 2 more days bled into the white monotony, devoid of triumph. Exhaustion was setting in. Machinery buckled under the harsh conditions, but retreat was not an option. Just when the shroud of despair threatened to consume their resolve, a dog's keen nose picked up something. The scent caught by the canine sent a surge of adrenaline through the rescuers, propelling them to the marked spot. Their devices echoed the dog's intuition. There was something, or someone, entombed in the ice below. The determined symphony of saws filled the air once more as they carved a path into the icy prison. A few meters in, their grim expectations were confirmed as the first body was revealed. Then another, and yet another. As one rescuer recounted, the soldiers were found just as they'd been claimed by the Avalanche, peacefully sleeping under their tent. With a solemn reverence, the bodies were extracted, and the search resumed. Once again, the dog's nose caught a scent. The cycle repeated, frenzied digging, and another grim discovery. By the end, 9 soldiers were accounted for, the entirety of Naik's unit. The only one missing was the corporal himself. An unspoken dread hung heavy in the air. The logical conclusion was that he too had been claimed by the unforgiving ice. As the echo of this grim realization was still reverberating, one of the team members, with a detector in hand, stumbled upon something inexplicable. The device suggested that beneath layers of frost, there was a signal of life. The thermal camera detected a faint glimmer of life, a tantalizing possibility that it could be Naik. The motor saws whirred back into action, tearing through 8 meters of oppressive ice. First emerged a hand, then slowly the rest of a figure. The miraculous truth defied their worst fears. It was Naik, grievously wounded, but alive against all odds. He had found refuge in a life-sustaining pocket of air, a sliver of mercy from the harsh avalanche. A wave of surreal disbelief washed over the rescuers, a moment of profound revelation frozen in time. The very helicopter that had first sketched the contours of the area now hurtled back through the biting wind, carrying in its belly a testament to the indomitable spirit of human survival. As the chopper touched down at the hospital, medical professionals hastened to examine their unlikely patient. His condition was precarious, but hidden beneath the layer of injuries were encouraging signs of recovery, a flicker of resilience amid the damage. His endurance through the nightmarish ordeal of 6 unyielding days trapped beneath a mountain of ice was testament enough to his spirit. But in a heart-wrenching twist, Naik's valiant battle met its tragic conclusion on February 11th. His battered body, having withstood an unfathomable ordeal, ultimately yielded to the unrelenting grip of multiple organ failure. Yet, in honoring his heroic spirit, his unwavering duty, and his profound sacrifice, the prestigious Sena Medal, a symbol of gallantry, was posthumously bestowed upon Lance Naik Hanumanthappa, a poignant tribute to a warrior who had dared to defy the icy hand of death itself. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate your time and hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked what you saw, be sure to check out the other great content on our channel. Your support means the world to us, and we can't wait to bring you more. Thank you again, and see you in the next video.